All right, let's do an amazing recharge today, as I sure need it, and I believe this will help you tremendously. So stay to the end. I got some really valuable information to offer you today. No charge at all. I just want to provide tremendous value to the community. So talk a little bit about personal development today. I want to talk about the launch of the mega giant ZukulAdNetWork, which happened today. Earl Nightingale, fixing broken agreements, challenge to life. My name is Gavin Mehl, and I would like to start with a story here. Many years ago, there was two men working in a machine shop. This is the story of Henry Ford and the Machinist. And the story goes that these two men, one man was a machinist. He started in the same machine shop that Henry Ford did back in Michigan. Before the turn of the century, and they were both doing identical work. In fact, the other man, besides than Henry Ford, he actually was more skilled at being a machinist than Henry Ford was. He was actually better than him at his job. And so, basically, they 5 years go by, and just 5 years later, a middle class, same kinds of work at middle class wages. This machinist was working at the same exact position, same wages, and a slight increase in pay, while Henry Ford became the richest man in the world. How could it be possible that two men from similar backgrounds, similar skills, one's actually more skilled than the other, this other man's more skilled than Henry Ford, how could it be that this man, Henry Ford, became the richest man in the world without any connections, without any differences, and in the same two places, from the same place in the same town? Okay, how is that possible that Henry Ford becomes the richest man in the world, and this other guy's still a machinist? Well, I'll tell you, it's by the principle of something called organized effort. Now, the good news is you don't have to learn all these principles about organized effort like I have, because I've been under a forced learning experience. Okay, I was almost, my purpose in life is to spread love and prosperity to humanity, and I felt like I was almost thrown and thrust into learning this material whether I had a choice or not. Okay, so you don't have to learn it all. There's the good news. Organized effort, science of success philosophy, the master key system, all these things which would benefit you tremendously to learn, but if you don't, it's okay, because there's a machine, just like this, talk about machinists, there's a machine now on the internet that is driving the principles of organized effort, okay, that allowed Henry Ford to become the richest man in the world. There's a machine now on the internet doing it for you. We live in a technological age, and with this beauty of technology, a machine is actually allowed to do it for you. I want to talk a little bit about that today, in this automated machine, and almost like call it a money machine. It's a machine of organized effort and leveraging these principles. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to tell you candidly how much I love doing this show, and how much I love having this opportunity. Okay, how much I love having this opportunity. I really appreciate you being there, and if it can help just one person, inspire them to be great, then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just go all out and all out massive action, give you all I got, because I'm at the point now where there's just so much information that I've got, and so much high level training that I've been under, that I gotta share it. I gotta get out there, because I know it's gonna help you tremendously in different areas of your life become better. All right. And I just really appreciate you watching. I just want to say thank you so much. Specifically, give a couple shout outs to some of the folks that made comments on some of my last videos. I didn't get a name, but it was 365 Benched. I don't know who he was, but this guy left an amazing comment, really inspired me a lot, talking about how he was recharged by one of the mastermind calls. Thank you. Susan Voss, thank you so much for watching the whole, one of my whole broadcast. I did a good job on the big picture approach of the ZukulAdNetWork. Fay Brown, I appreciate you and your comments as well, and telling me about getting right to the point on the seven key points of success. Why I supported ZukulAdNetWork. Bruce Jewell on dependability. Thank you so much for bringing that up, that you followed that, and dependability being the most important trait that anyone should have when building a new relationship or a new business associate, personal relationship or business at all. Gareth, thank you so much for watching my presentation and saying it was fantastic. Dana Marie Rich, I hadn't heard from you before, but I watched your videos, and hey, wow, big shout out to you. Thanks for giving me love on my videos. I appreciate you doing that so much. One of my mentors, he actually joined the ZukulAdNetWork. It was called the Law of Success Coach. This guy, Zik, thank you so much for watching. Give me the love on the video. This guy, if you're not following this guy, I highly recommend it. You know, I got to give him credit for opening me up to the law of success, because one of my mentors taught me about the law of success many years ago. And well, not even many years ago, it wasn't that long ago, less than 2 years ago. And it turned me on to Zik. Zik is the law of success coach. And now he was just following what I was doing and, you know, taking all that massive action. He took action, and now he's part of this OneLink family and Zukul and loving it every minute of it, this guy. So way to go, Zik, way to take action. A shout out to you. Dave Jimenez, a fraternity brother of mine, Delta Chi at Sac State. I rushed the kid. He was a great guy back when he first came to Sac State. Now he's taken massive action with him and his family, incredible success working at his full-time employment, also an entrepreneur in real estate. I want to say thank you, Dave, for opening up your mind and listening to what I had to say and sharing your perspectives on the keys to beginning great. You're very coachable, and I see incredible things for your future. Also, what you're doing on Facebook as well and marketing. And Rebeka Sherlock, oh my gosh, this girl's an inspiration to me. I had a nice conversation on the phone with her on Sunday. I like talking on the phone to people, so if you really need something, I'm open to talking, helping. Skype, Gavin.Mehl, or phone 917-304-6089. You can call me anytime. She's an inspiration. I shout out to her on her great videos and what she wrote to me. And what can I say? Andy Laskey, this guy is just man, he's just one of these light workers, kind of like myself, but he's on another level where he's just made of love, made of light. Nothing can bounce through him. You know the power of light when you turn it on in a room, the light turns on, the darkness is gone. He's just like one of those guys. He's just got so much light in him and so much good in him, so much kindness in him. It's people like him. I mean, he's on another level that just inspire me to become the best version of myself. So I hope it helps you. Shout out to the OneLink family and the ZukulAdNetWork with the big launch that took place today. And my name is Gavin Mehl, first of all. Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind call. It's not a guru's call. It's a student's call. And I've been doing these calls for about 9 months. I just wanted to give you a quick background on it. Originally, I was #1 sales at a large company. Became #1 at a young age and had tremendous success. Started a business, had tremendous success at that. The financial crisis hit. I was forced to work online, and for 7 years I've been online, having tremendous success, having failure, success, failure, back and forth. But now I've been a part of, basically supporting this thing called Zukul and Jeremy Rush and this movement. And I'm not an affiliate of the company, mind you, so I don't have a link for you to join, but I would highly recommend getting information on it. They had a big launch today called ZukulAdNetWork. It's a massive movement, like 100,000 people, $300,000-$400,000 went into it today. It's just a huge movement. A lot of people are going to be very successful with it. Get all the information you can. I believe it is going to create the biggest amount of financial freedom, okay, more financial freedom in 2016 for more people than anything else there is online. Actually, not just online today, but online, period, forever. Ever has been, okay, for a massive amount of people. There's a gentleman named Keith Rhodes, and he's a mentor to me. I had the amazing opportunity to get to know this guy. So he's part of the OneLink family, ZukulAdNetWork, and I mean, I've met a lot of people over the years who have been inspired to me, mentors to me. But shout out to Keith. Now, I am so grateful to even know him. I'm swinging, I'm swinging from the little league team, and he's up in the big leagues, throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. I mean, this guy is on a very high level, not just financially, business-wise, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I'm such a student when it comes to him, and I just want to say thank you, Keith, for taking hours and hours and hours and hours out of your valuable time to talk with me. I appreciate that. Keith was actually the first person I've ever spoken to in the OneLink family on the phone. That talks about how the amazing internet works. It's like there's so much transparency and dependability and reliability and loyalty in that OneLink family that I don't even need to talk to anybody because it's dependability of the Hangouts are every day. So Keith, thank you for all the time you gave me. I'd like to throw down a challenge of getting him on as a guest on my show. I have not had a guest on the Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind call ever. Never had a guest. Originally, when I first started doing these calls 9 months ago, I started with guests, and I had a different name for the broadcast. But I had a couple guests on, and I decided to change and not have guests. But I want to throw down a challenge. What do you think about getting Keith on, if you watch this, as a guest? Keith Rhodes. And one of the things Keith Rhodes talked about was that Jeremy Rush, he made a bold prediction. He said Jeremy Rush would be the richest man on planet Earth. What do you think about that? I would love to see your comments below. Leave a comment about what you think about Jeremy Rush becoming the richest man on planet Earth. What a bold statement and prediction he made. And for those who don't know Keith Rhodes, you have to check him out, add him on Facebook and look up who this guy is. But he's got a tremendous background. He just doesn't make these predictions. It's just like, rolling the dice, just like myself, analyzing these things. But this guy is a real numbers cruncher, a real analyzation guy. He really takes a big picture look at this. And he made that prediction, the richest man in the world in the next 3 years. Okay, what does that mean to you and I? Well, if you're a part of that movement, there's be a lot of millionaires. And Keith said even billionaires created. Keith said the word billionaires. I was like, what? So, hey, shout out to you, Keith. That really inspired me for you to say that, coming from such a high level like you are. I appreciate it. All right, let's talk about the habits of breaking agreements. Back here in Sacramento, one of the phys ed teachers that I had growing up was a guy called Bob Mccoy. Now, Bob Mccoy was one of these guys that was just fit all the time, gym, outfit. He's the basketball coach for the team, for the school. He's just Mr. Phys Ed, Mr. in shape. So he's always exercising. And one time I went up to him, started talking to him, and I'm like, hey, do you exercise like this during the summertime? Because he took summers off for being a phys ed teacher. And he said, yeah, every day. I said, well, why? Why do you exercise every day in the summer? He's like, Gavin, if you make an agreement with yourself to exercise every day and then you break the agreement, you won't go back to exercising again for, say, 6 months. So I have to exercise every day because that's my agreement to myself, and I continue doing it, and it's easy and it's fun. But he said, if I were to break that agreement to myself, I may not go back and exercise in another 6 months. That story that he told me, that analogy really hit home. It resonated with me tremendously. And I want to talk to you about breaking agreements, because you have the habit of breaking agreements. I have the habit of breaking agreements. Now, dependability and loyalty are the two most important things, I believe, in developing a new relationship with anyone or any business. However, we've all had the habit of doing it in the past. And I can say we because I know I've screwed up and broken agreements to myself, saying I was going to wake up at a certain time and I hit the snooze button and I didn't. Oh, I broke an agreement. Saying I was going to be somewhere at a certain time and I didn't. I made it late and I didn't call and tell the person. I broke an agreement. All right, it happens. We've all done it. But I want to talk today about what happens when we break these agreements. Okay, it sends us into paralysis, into stagnation. We stop taking action. We stop moving forward because of this broken agreement. And I want you to think back for a moment and leave a comment with this. Okay, leave a comment with this. Think for a moment back in time in your life when you were at a good place and things were moving along. You're making progress every day, every year, every week was getting a little bit better. Maybe making a little bit more money at your job. Maybe you were a little bit happier. Just you remember that point in life, whether it be last year or 10 years or 30 years ago, whatever it was. Think back and write down a comment what that moment was, what it was like. And I want you to think about a point in time that all of a sudden then things got off track. All right, something happened. An agreement was broken with yourself or with someone else, and all of a sudden it set you into paralysis and you got off track. All right, this is some really advanced training, but I'm going to simplify, make this very simple into some stories and make this fun. So, but think about it. When was a point in your life that you were on the right track, doing well, things were going in the right direction. Then all of a sudden, you got into paralysis and you stopped moving forward. Think about what agreement you broke with yourself. Write it down. Leave a comment. Think about it. Really, this is a challenge. I'm challenging you to do this. Okay, this is going to help you tremendously. There was an agreement at some point that you broke with yourself. That agreement, okay, stopped the forward progress. All right? For me, you know, I broke an agreement. I broke many agreements. I broke an agreement back in 2000, let's say, I don't know, a number of years ago. And I said I was going to do something, and I didn't do it. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't apologize. I didn't blame myself. I didn't take the blame that it was my fault, but it was my fault. All right? So because I didn't take the blame, because I didn't own up to it and saying I screwed up, that set me into paralysis. And even though I thought I was moving forward, I wasn't. I was moving backwards, and I was stuck. All right? I was stuck in my development. I was stuck in growing. And all my areas of my life were actually not moving forward at all. Now, if you think about it, the fast-paced world we live in right now, if you are not, you gotta run just to stand still, right? We're living in a fast-paced world with inflation and, you know, internet and technology. I mean, you gotta run just to stand still. So I was moving backward, so it just set me back tremendously. So I want to just show you this lesson because it's going to save you a lot of heartache. And what can we do? What can we do to fix this broken agreement? It's important that you go back and you think about what agreement you broke. What was that one agreement? And there may be multiple agreements, but what was that one that you know that was the cause of a downward spiral, that was the cause of stagnation, of paralysis? Think about what it was. I want you to say something that's going to hurt your ego. It sure hurt mine. It's going to say, it was my fault. It was my fault. It was my fault that happened. It was my fault. Now, it's really hard to say it was your fault when, you know, you're getting to the airport and your flight is canceled and you're supposed to be in another city for an important meeting, but your flight was canceled, right? It's like, how can I say, hey, I missed my agreement, but my flight was canceled, right? But I want you to think of something. There's always an excuse. There's always an excuse, big, small, or indifferent. But it doesn't matter. Somehow, some way, it was my fault. I take the blame. I could have done something different to make that agreement happen, and I brought that upon myself. It's very important. Why do we want to do this? Because we take control back of our life. And once we have control of our life again, by admitting that we broke this agreement, we get the power. We get the power to create our own financial success, our own financial future, our own reality. Okay, this is something that people don't know. They need to know this, but they don't know this, and it's very important because I was taught growing up that it wasn't my fault. And I could always blame somebody else. You know, I was in a rut. I said the government's fault. You know, it's my job's fault. Oh, I didn't grow up in that city. It's fault. My grandfather told me I couldn't do that. It's his fault. It's everybody's fault but mine. But forget that. We have to take responsibility and admit that agreement that we broke, that you broke at some point, you own up to it and say, you know what, I accept it. It was my fault, and I am owning up to it. By doing this, by forgiving and then saying, thank you, please forgive me, I love you. Say, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And, you know, just own up to it. This is going to be a very freeing experience, and we'll let that clear that old energy away, because there's some dead energy that's blocked up inside of us at times with these old broken agreements that we try to forget about. You know, we try to push them out of our mind, but they're in there somewhere. You know, every once in a while, a thought will come up and say, man, and you try to forget about it again, right? But this is going to get that thought out of there. It's going to get that energy out of there by owning up to it and saying, it was my fault. I screwed up. I could have done differently. I'm owning up to it. All right. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I want to talk today also about flushing out fear for good. All right. Back when I after college, I reached this got this job at this company, right? And I became the #1 associate in the company, and when you have 10,000 people. You're the number one in the company. It's great. It's great to be at the top, on top, right? It's a lot of good things, but there can be a lot of negative things too. For example, being the poster person for the company, right, can have a little bit of, I don't know. It can have a little bit of, actually, I've never brought this down. I don't want to reach it, but I've got a magazine there with one of the articles they wrote about us wrote about me on there. The bottom line is this: there can be a lot of negativity and things that come with it too. One of the things that came out was the great fear that I had of losing my job, of losing the number one status. And being number one for 20 straight months, setting these records was profound. It was an amazing experience. But the rumors got started about me having a call center inside my apartment. And so people talk, oh, Gavin's got a call center in his apartment. That's the only way he can do all that business and work. There's no way it's possible. So I said, there's a call center with me. And so these things people were start talking and saying that I was breaking some rules. That's what the rumor was, in order to have this success. So I became very fearful. I became very fearful about it. I couldn't sleep at night. I would stay up tossing and turning about, going through what happened. Why me? Why does everyone talk bad about me about this? I didn't do anything wrong. It was on my mind. It was gnawing at me. It was a gnawing anxiety, a gnawing fear that I had. And finally, one day, the fear that I brought myself, because I had so much fear about it, it came to a head. And I got a call, one of the old phones, the old dial-up phone called me up. It was my boss, Chuck, on the phone. And Chuck says, hey, we got to go down and talk to the big boss. I said, oh, man, this isn't good. I knew for a fact that something was happening. A culmination of my fear was happening right there. I could sense it. Get in the office, and he says, "Hey, dude, it's Big Joe was the guy's name. He was the head cheese of the whole place, head boss of the whole place." And he says, "Hey, dude, we got reason to believe that you're not following the rules, and they were considering me firing me. Okay, it was a very valuable position, something I really did not want to lose. And I said, I'll do anything. What do I got to do?" And they said, "Well, let us come and investigate your apartment, your penthouse apartment. We'll see for ourselves if there's anything illegal going on." I said, "Let's go right now." And we went out and checked it out. Long story short is I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was cleared of it. There was nothing to be scared of because I wasn't doing anything wrong. But I brought this big fear upon myself. I want to talk today about how to flush this out. It's really important because right now there's something, and we hate to admit that we're scared of things. Everybody hates to admit that, all right? Our ego hates to say, I'm scared of something, but it's true. There's something inside of you that you're fearing. Maybe it's the fear of poverty. I think that's the biggest fear people have is poverty. A fear of poverty, not being able to pay a bill, a fear of poverty, not being able to pay something. That could be a big fear, all right? Let's be honest. So maybe that's the fear you're having. Maybe, it's something else. But whatever it is, let's talk about how to get rid of it. It's very important. It's an easy exercise, okay? And I do it myself on a regular basis because I have fears too. When I'm faced with the fear, something that I think could happen bad, right? I say, well, something bad could happen. It's important that we face the fear in our own mind. We got to face it. How do we face it? Well, we've got to look at the situation as the worst case scenario. So let's say there's a fear of poverty, and this fear of poverty is going to cause you to miss a mortgage payment. You say, oh my gosh, if I miss this mortgage payment, life is over. And I'm so upset about this. I'm stressed. It's causing me stress, and I'm taking it out on other people, my family. I'm wound so tight. So let's face it. Let's face up. Let's face this fear right now. You got to go into your own space, private space, turn off the computer, turn off the phone, turn off the music, go into a space, face the fear in your own imagination. I do it on a walk. I love walking 30 minutes to an hour a day. I believe walking is the best way to burn calories because it doesn't trigger my appetite. I do intermittent fasting. So I do walking a lot. So go for a walk. Don't bring in your phone with you and just think about your fear and say, what's the worst thing that could happen with this fear? Face it. The worst thing. How bad is it? Face it. And it's not going to be pretty. It's going to suck. Of course it is. But you got to face it. Like, this is how bad it could be. It could be this bad. Accept it. All right? And then realize it's probably not going to happen. And if it does, you faced it already. You faced it. You've accepted that's the fear. That's the worst thing that can happen, all right? And move on and say, you know, it's probably not going to happen. The chances of that happening are probably not going to happen. Maybe something smaller is going to happen, but it's not going to happen. It's really very unlikely. You got to face it, though, in your own mind. You got to face it, you know, own up to it, right, in your imagination. It's like the story of these sailors. You know, my friend Dylan went to high school with me here in Sacramento. And we're going up to the booth we're walking on the quad one day, and Dylan was a really, you know, he was a really straight and narrow kid, but he needed a lot of direction. And so we go to the quad one day, and we see the recruits for the Navy. They're dressed in this beautiful naval outfit, right? It's like a white suit and tie and the hats and all that. Like, these guys were sharp. And so we stopped and talked to him, and Dylan ended up enlisting in the Navy. And so we stayed in touch, and Dylan tells me stories about the new recruits when they came in and what happened when they were facing their fear of swimming. Dylan was a swimmer himself. He was an athlete and a jock, so we didn't have a problem. But he said a lot of these new recruits into the Navy, you know, basically the Navy wanted these people, these new recruits, to be able to swim because they felt that if they could swim, it may save a sailor's life at sea one day. So Dylan said the fear of these recruits was incredibly real. Standing around the pool, what happens is the senior guys would end up pushing the recruits in because they were so terrified of swimming, they would just push them in, and they would do it. They would start swimming, dog paddling, and even though there was lots of advanced swimmers around that would save these guys before they would drown, they were scareder than she said the fear was so real it was hard to describe. The lesson here is, we got to face our fear, just like these recruits faced it. They didn't have a choice. They got pushed into the water, and it was funny for the other guys, but it wasn't funny for them. So you got to do it yourself in your own imagination. Face your fear in your own imagination. By facing your fear, it's going to allow you to flush it out. You're going to be able to flush it out. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, and it's not going to happen. Next story. Gavin Mehl, Global Mastermind call. 27 minutes. All right. The story of Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale. Who was Earl Nightingale? Anyone? Does anyone know who Earl Nightingale was? Leave a comment below. He came out with something, I believe it was in 1967, called The Strangest Secret. Changed my life, changed a lot of people's life, but I want to talk to you a little bit about the story of it. This guy, Earl Nightingale, was born during the Depression era back in the Los Angeles area, and he was actually raised in something almost like a Skid Row. It was called like a tent city. Bad area, poor area of town, okay, really poor. And in his area, in his time frame, they were literally living in tents out in Los Angeles in these areas. So there was no opportunity. It was barely no hope. But this guy, Earl Nightingale, he decided that he was going to educate himself. He was going to read. He was going to read personal development. He was going to do whatever he could to find a way to get out of this depression, this poverty that he was born into. He was born into really poverty, low income situation. So one day he got a copy of Think and Grow Rich by the great Napoleon Hill. He started reading it, and it changed his life. It changed his life, and he discovered that there was a secret inside of Think and Grow Rich. And so in 1967, he recorded an LP. It was actually an audio designed to his sales team, and he had a company that he would record motivational presentations and sales speeches to them, and he recorded a sales lecture to these guys, to his sales team, and this is what it turned into, The Strangest Secret. He found out that there was a secret inside of Think and Grow Rich, and it was so strange, and the reason it was strange, he said, is because it was so simple. The secret was so simple that no one was doing it. That's why he called it The Strangest Secret. The Strangest Secret. It was so strange of a secret because it was so simple that nobody was doing it. The secret really was believing you can do it, okay, and you become what you think about. You become what you think about most of the time. He said, you become what you think about most of the time. So Earl Nightingale's ideas, and really comes from Napoleon Hill, that you can apply now. First of all, go and listen to this on YouTube. It's tremendous. Make it a habit. Listen to it once a day for 30 days. change your life. It sure did for me. But a call to action here on what to do with it is you take out a card, maybe like a business card, something you can carry around with you. And you write down your short-term goal. I'm going to earn, let's say, $10,000 a month in passive income very soon. And I see molecules moving all around my brain to make room for this income now. I'm going to do it. That's it, period. Something, whatever your goal is. But do not put a time limit on it. Do not say when, say very soon. Write down your goal and then follow the rest of the instructions on the strangest secret on the other side of the card. But it's powerful by carrying it around with you. Okay, by carrying this card around with you with your goal, maybe putting it in your wallet, putting it in your purse if you have a purse if you're a female, putting it in your wallet if you're a guy, and so you just see it once a day and you hold it, you have it on you. It creates a magnetic force towards your purpose because you become what you think about. So you're going to see it, you're going to think about it just because it's on you. If you drive, put it inside your dashboard right here, but where the speedometer is, put it right there. Every time you look down, you'll see it. If you have a mirror, tape it on your mirror. A couple, just this last weekend, had a profound story happen to me regarding a mirror, okay, and luck. I'm going to share this because I know it will help a lot of people. I sent out a call to action. It was I think it was last Saturday. It was on Saturday specifically, so less than 1 week ago. I did a call to action on just a message on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. I said, hey, everyone, here's a challenge. Go to your bathroom mirror with a bar of soap and write this down. Take a bar of soap and write this down. Say, I am an amazing good luck generator. Everyone, go do this now. Just do it now. I am an amazing good luck generator. I said this as a call to action. I don't know who did it or who didn't do it, but I did it, and I believed it. And I've been saying this to myself every time I looked in the mirror. I'm an amazing good luck generator. I'm an amazing good luck generator. I am an amazing good luck generator. The next day, right after I made this call to action, true story, the next day, there's a hangout on Sunday for OneLinkFamily and ZukulAdNetWork, okay? Go back and watch it you go to the OneLinkFamily Facebook group to find the hangouts when you go to files, okay? You'll see files there and you can find all the past hangouts. It was on Sunday, would have been a week ago, would have been the I think it's the 24th. Could be wrong, whatever the Sunday was, March 24th. Or the 25th or 23rd, whatever day that was. But on that hangout, I won money for just watching live. Can you believe that? Thousands of people, watching, doing their thing. I'm an amazing good luck generator. The next day, I win money for watching TV. It's TV, it's watching YouTube. It's on YouTube like this. For watching it, I won money. Like they sent me money. Jeremy Rush sent me the money on PayPal like that. I'm an amazing good luck generator. What are the chances of that? I mean, I was like, whoa, this stuff is powerful. This works. It's amazing. So you become what you think about, like Earl Nightingale says. You become what you think about most of the time. And so these are just something key, simple stories and simple exercises that you could do to change your thinking, to change your DNA. And I know it will help people tremendously. If you're in a place right now where maybe you're having financial difficulty. Maybe you're in stress, all right? Maybe you're in having a hard time at work or with your family or at your job, or maybe you're just having the fear of poverty, okay? I want to share something with you that changed my life and changed millions of people's lives. This was used and endorsed by one of the greatest teachers to ever walk the face of the earth, a guy by the name of Gandhi in India. This Gandhi endorsed this, and Gandhi recommended this to his millions and millions and millions of followers, okay, as his peaceful fight against the British, which he won, mind you, all from his mind, no weapons. He won the fight all through his mind before the internet. So here it is, and I want you to let this sink in, because this I've memorized it. I say it often, and anytime you're in a place where you have a challenge and life is bothering you, life is in the way, life is difficult, there's something negative, put this on your mirror. I put this on two places, on two mirrors in my spot here. I'm telling you, it changed my life. It's by Napoleon Hill, and it's called A Challenge to Life. Life You can't subdue me because I refuse to take your discipline too seriously. When you try to hurt me, I laugh because laughter knows no pain. I appreciate your joys whenever I find them. Your tears, your sorrows are not for me because I like laughter much better. I appreciate your joys whenever I find them. And but your sorrows are not for me because they did nor discourage me nor frighten me because there's laughter in my soul. Temporary defeat does not make me sad. I simply set music to the sounds of defeat, and I turn it into a song. Your tears are not for me because I like laughter much better, and because I like it, I use it as a substitute to shield me against grief, anger, pain, and disappointment. Life, you're a fickle trickster, don't deny it. You slip the motion of love into my heart so that you may use it as a thorn with which to prick my soul. But you learned to dodge your trap with laughter. You tried to lure me with a desire for gold, but I have fooled you once again because I followed the trail which leads to applied knowledge instead. Life, you induced me to build beautiful friendships and converted my friends to enemies so that you may harden my heart. But I learned to sidestep your attempts and your fickleness by laughing them off and selecting new friends in my own way. Life, you caused men to cheat me at trade so that I may become distrustful. But I win again because I possess the one precious asset which no man can steal, which is the power to think my own thoughts and to be myself. Life, you threaten me with death, but to me, death is nothing more than a long, peaceful sleep. Because sleep is the sweetest of human experiences, excepting laughter. Life, you build a fire of hope in my heart and then sprinkle water on the flames. But I go once better than by rekindling the fire and laughing at you once more. Life, you are licked as far as I'm concerned. You have nothing which can lure me away from laughter. You are powerless to scare me into submission into a life of laughter. Then I raise my cup of cheer. A challenge to life. And it's okay to laugh. It's okay to laugh and let go, because that's the one cure that you have when faced with these difficulties. Challenge to life. Used by millions of people, recommended by Gandhi himself, written by the great Napoleon Hill, and he wrote that during when he was faced with one of his greatest challenges, one of his greatest defeats. He overcame it by that. So, challenge to you is to go out and watch Earl Nightingale's Strangest Secret. Okay, do exactly what he says on there. I challenge you to join the OneLinkFamily Facebook group and get into ZukulAdNetWork, because there's a major prosperity movement coming. And if you have a fear of poverty at all, nagging at you inside, follow the exercises that I mentioned, okay, and that will help you tremendously. And that is, the habit of breaking agreements and how to overcome broken agreements. Go back and listen to this again. And also, thank you again, everyone, for watching and shouting out, leaving comments last time. Leave a comment below with some of the things that you, some of the ideas that you have, and share your perspective. I greatly appreciate it. This is Gavin Mehl. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next time. And subscribe if you haven't already. I love you. Thank you. To a life of laughter.